Hi, I'm Dr. Aimie. How did I figure out whether my son had attachment disorder or not? When I first got him, he was 4 years old, and I knew that he would be coming with trauma issues because the social workers had told me that he had been in a number of placements. But I was unfamiliar with attachment disorder, all of the brain stuff, even the body stuff. I had no idea on that level that things could be wrong. The social workers told me that all he needed was a stable, loving home, and this kid would be fine, even though he had blown out of a number of other placements because of his behavior. And I believed them, and I just knew that I was this stable, loving person, that he was going to be healed and be this great kid. And I had a lot to learn. But there was a moment in time when I figured out that he had attachment disorder. I got him in late October. And at first there was this honeymoon period, as there often is when you adopt or have a foster placement. And it wasn't until a month later that I started seeing a lot of behavior starting to come up, things that the social workers had told me about: aggression, rages. He started destroying furniture in his room. And I still decided to go on a trip over Christmas break to visit my sister. And he had one of these rages while we were up there. And she handed me this book, and this book absolutely changed my life. It had, in the beginning of the book, a list of behaviors that a child with attachment disorder will have. And I read this list and I thought, no, this isn't it. Maybe one or two, but he really doesn't have a lot of the symptoms here, so I don't think he has attachment disorder. But I stayed up and I read most of the book that night. And the book talked a lot about establishing respect and how important that is for healing the kids with attachment disorder. And I knew that this is not something I had done. My son did not respect me. He ran the house. He made the decisions, and I was trying to be his friend. That's what I thought would heal him and have him establish that connection with me, that attachment with me. But this was not happening, and I just thought that we needed more time. So I was doing more of the approach of trying to be his friend and not establishing the respect like this book was talking about. And he had this habit of coming into my bed at night. And he had been doing this for a while. And I thought at the time, like, oh, isn't that sweet? He's scared, he's lonely, and he's coming to me to, help comfort him. That's definitely a sign of connection and attachment. And as I read this book, I thought, well, he does do it in a very disrespectful way, because when he comes into the bed, it's not just that he cuddles, it's that he wants to put his legs over mine. He wants to take up the bed. And so I decided that that was the experiment I was going to run that night. And sure enough, he came into my bed and put his legs over mine. And this time was the first time that I gently, slowly moved his legs off of mine. And wouldn't you believe it? He picked up his legs and threw them right back over mine. And I thought, how interesting. Yeah, this just feels disrespectful. I am going to do this. So once again, I picked up his legs, moved them off of mine. He, this time with so much more force, picked up his legs, threw them back over mine. And in that moment, I knew that we were dealing with attachment disorder. How did I know? Because when we establish that respect, a position of authority, that's when you're going to see the behaviors from a kid with attachment disorder. You will not see all of their behaviors if they're getting their way. if they're able to, get you to do what they want, if you're changing your mind and kind of accommodating them so that they don't have a temper tantrum. In this sense, like they're feeling like they're in control and they're the boss, and so you're not going to see the symptoms, the behaviors of a child who is afraid to trust because they're in control. And so once you establish this dynamic of respect, kind authority, if they have attachment disorder, you will see behaviors. They will come out. And so in that moment, that was when I knew that we were dealing with attachment disorder. I hope this helps, and I hope that my experience with my son will help you and help others have a different experience than what I had. It was a long road to healing because I started off wrong, because I started off just trying to be his friend rather than being the strong parent that he needed.